Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call. John Hotchkiss here.
Joe Bailey here.
John Mullen is excused while we are slaving away here, working so hard.
Did you give him a vacation?
He's on vacation.
Gee.
But in his defense, prior to going on vacation, he spent about every day over there at the town hall.
Oh.
All right, first item, please. Minutes, Board of Selectmen meeting, August 6th. I've read them already.
I've reviewed them. I'll make a motion that we set the minutes as written.
Okay, I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Good. Electronic day, not election day, electronic day.
It's Saturday, 8 to 12.
Coming
And,
Saturday.
yeah, the 18th. It's all at the highway barn. There's no more at the pit and at the highway barn, at least not this year. So you need to split your shifts or whatever. So you have a board present. I'll make sure you have change and stuff ready.
So that's what
Didn't give any warning on that at all.
it's the 18th
Yeah.
of August?
Yep, this Saturday.
And you say it's at Highway Garage?
Mhm.
Can you explain to me what that is, electronic day?
If you have old TVs, VCRs, computers, printers,
Okay.
anything electronic that you can't throw in the trash, you can come up here and pay a fee to get rid of it.
Super.
And
Thank you.
basically, we don't make money on it. It's just whatever it costs us, it costs you.
Yeah.
Tires, depending on the size of your tires.
Yeah.
Old propane tanks, depends on the size of the tank,
Okay.
all that stuff.
Does that have anything to do with the bulk stickers that I got?
No.
No, this is completely different.
Okay.
If you have metal, that goes to down the Highway Garage area, down there, on Ridge Road.
Not this year.
Not this
It's
year.
all gonna be over there.
Just
It
put
goes-
up the construction down here, so we
Okay.
figured.
All right, so
we'd
it
be-
goes here, it goes into a dumpster, there's no charge for that,
Right.
and the town receives money that helps to offset.
You get an
this.
old grill, something like that, there's no cost for that, you can just toss that in the middle dumpster.
Okay.
And we'll be there to help you with buckets and the loaders and stuff like that, so.
Can I throw the burnt burgers in there too? On the grill?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Separate from that, when is bulk pickup?
October 2nd.
That's where you have the sticker.
Okay, alrighty.
So do you guys want to say who's going to be there when, or?
I
I
can
mean,
do
it's
it.
only 4 hours, you really only have to do 2-hour shifts.
If you want, John, I can do the whole thing.
Okay, we'll talk.
Okay, no problem, either, you
Mullen
know,
will be there.
we'll have Rod repeat that.
Rob and Pete both.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna do tires there too, we're just gonna put them in the back of a dump truck, cause we had to move the tires out of here, they're in the other location. Now get them, that way there, if they're in the dump truck, I can bring them to that spot and they can pick them up, and
Yeah.
get them in one spot.
Okay, cool,
All right,
perfect.
hawkers, peddlers, permit fee.
Okay, so we don't get too many of these, but the other day it came forward that we had a gentleman wanting a hawker peddler license permit thing. So Chief Ledger wasn't aware that it was the police department that handed them out. So we scrambled, we got an old one, he recreated a new one, but he wanted to know if we should be putting a fee on there. Because most permits have a fee
Where's the fee go?
to the general fund. No, he did, he said the general fund.
I,
But I mean, what do we get, he's been here 3 years and we only had one.
well, the problem is they're not coming and getting them, because the people come around quite a bit. We've had two in our neighborhood. One selling books and stuff like that, encyclopedias, and the other one sitting there trying to sell insurance to Tammy,
Edward Jones.
Edward Jones, so.
People still sell encyclopedias?
You know, it's students,
It's not encyclopedia, well, there might be some encyclopedias, it's more kids' books, science discovery.
You know, is this one filled out?
no, that's just.
No,
know what
that's
it's
the created one, then he just created a new looking, we do have an ordinance that says you need a permit,
Okay.
but it's like from 1942, I think is what it said on it. So we might need to revise that a little bit too, but he didn't know if you wanted to add to it or,
I think the whole idea is because people used to complain, people just showing up at the doorstep like that, and the cops didn't do anything about it. So it makes them aware that, yeah, they're calling the police department, yes, we're aware that person's there. who's in town.
And also make sure that you've got a legitimate person, not someone going
Right.
around selling you roofing and never shows up.
But it has times on there, like they can only pedal between these hours and.
That's a good idea, actually.
Now, some of it started from your Family Pride Day too. We had a guy wanting to come into town one time with a catering type, like a lunch cart thing. And that's when it was brought up that we were supposed to have one of these, so that's when it was generated, but that was generated after the event, so that, we've never seen it again since, and you never asked again since, so.
Laura, would you mind checking our neighbors' towns and ask them if they charge a fee? And if so, I'm in favor of having a fee. So I would vote to have it contingent upon what you find out. Since there's only two of us, could you reach us tomorrow so we can?
We can make
So,
an idea on
right,
the
yeah.
last meeting of the month, and Mr. Bones will be back, and
Right,
it takes 2 weeks to deal with it.
so it's not like someone's trying to have a,
No, we
Something
gave
just-
one out the other day, we just, because we were on the
so
spot.
it's not an emergency.
No,
Oh, then let's
Nope.
find out and then report back to us,
okay,
not next week, cause there's no meeting, but afterwards, okay?
alright.
Truck bids. Joe, I didn't know you were selling your truck. Very good.
Not gonna get much out of it.
Alright, a little
What's that
history, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong,
Is this part of it?
That's the bid I put out.
the, I guess it's the road agent's truck originally, was the F-250, 2006. Used it. We got a newer truck, and the foreman had Brandon use the 2006 Ford F-250. Then we had an opportunity to buy a newer vehicle, nice, it's a GMC with a nice flat bed and back. And I think part of that deal was trade it in, but then the trade-in didn't amount to anything.
Right.
So now we're trying to dispose of the 2006 Ford F-250. Is that pretty accurate?
Correct.
All right, here we go.
Alright, so,
There's 4 people that want these, this thing?
okay, so Laura put out, invitation to bid. We're accepting the bids for one 2006 Ford F-250 pickup with approximately 75,000 miles, comes with an 8.6 minute mile plow. Presently undrivable due to brake issues. Other issues, known issues are rust engine, transmission front end, and fuel gauge.
Other than that, it's perfect.
And that looks no. Truck can be seen the highway guys located at 200A Kings Highway. All bids must be submitted by a sealed envelope clearly marked Highway F-250 and be received on or will before 4 p.m. on 8/9/2018 to the town of Milton, 182 Kings Highway, Midland. Bid opening will be at the 8/13 Board of Selectmen's meeting. For additional information, contact Rick at phone number. Board of Selectmen have the right to accept or reject any and all bids. Truck will be sold as is, where is, no warranties.
All right,
So,
So it was till 4, it wasn't until just noon time. Thursday.
well,
okay.
I'm gonna mark this
You
bid.
want-
I'm gonna mark this one bid one.
Normally I don't do that.
Envelope one.
Almost I copied some other,
Okay.
I think you're gonna pass me anyways.
Okay, we have one, the first one I have is, from Bob Brutal, for $775.
All right, I'll have bid number 2, Paul Barron, $300. This is number 2.
Yep.
This is a 2.
Okay. My next one is, from Asian Auto Services, $654.32.
That's bid number
Just
3.
my bid.
$632.
Damn, I lost by 2 cents.
But wait, there's more. 2 John's Auto, foot of the hill, Middleton Hill, right? Would like to offer a bid of $1,856 for the 2006 Ford F-250 red plow truck. Signed, John Hildreth, 2 John's Auto.
Hey?
Wow.
So I make a motion now, I make a motion that we set the bid for $1,856 from Two John's Auto on, out of Union, New Hampshire.
I will second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I won't put this in the paper because.
It's number 4. Alright, so, I cannot explain why their bid is 4 or 5 times bigger than everybody else's.
If they really wanted it, he's the first one to look at it.
Yeah,
They're right there that Monday.
Yeah.
when
Did
it
you
was
read
out.
this, or it says that this?
Yeah, but he owns a garage.
Right.
yeah, he probably do the work himself.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Next week you'll see it out for sale.
Yeah.
3,000.
Rick, without getting into the particulars, plow is good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's worth something right
Oh,
there.
yeah, and that's basically, if you think about a used plow, it's about half of what a new one would be, a little less than half, so maybe that's what he was looking at,
Right.
is that, cause
Yeah.
for less than $2 grand, you can get a whole 8-foot plow.
Also
set up.
tires on that thing, pretty good too, weren't they?
Yeah, that,
That was some money.
that's some studded snow tires plus a set of summer tires that went with it, so, and don't fit
Yeah,
nothing else.
that's his money back right there, pretty much.
The plow is pretty much,
Right,
I mean, the other bit is, you're not gonna buy a plow for 300 or 600 or 800, that's for sure. It's worth anything, you know,
so, any further discussion?
good for us.
Ready for the vote? We're ready to accept the bid of $1,856 for the Ford F-250. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? That's it?
So that takes care of the body, you know, if it was, you know, it goes back to general farmer, that offsets the body refabrication.
Yeah.
Plus some of the lighting, actually, if you thought about it that way, you know what I mean, so,
That's good?
yeah.
You got more than we did for a trade-in value, so.
Got more than we did for that the 6-wheeler with the plow on it, right?
Yeah.
Are you calling him or you want me to contact him?
I almost bet that one of them might be over that doorstep in the morning.
Okay. Well, look forward to you sending him my way. Alright,
Cause his buddy Clem lives up the street, a merchant.
okay.
Him and his buddy both, and then
So
do up the
certified
bill of
check,
sale.
we're ready to go.
I gotta find the title, I gotta do all that.
you
Okay.
should have that here, yeah.
Understood.
Okay, old business, the old town hall update. John Mullen, as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, has been working very hard to get what I call the main part of the building finished. And for all intents and purposes, it is done. We need to paint some of the outside of it. The main part's basically done. Separate from that is the work on the kitchen. And true to form, John Mullen jumped in and started arranging for work to be done on the kitchen based on a vote at the March 2018 town meeting. He's been working very hard to get that done. He's on vacation. Joe's been filling in with the avowed intent of having the August 22nd luncheon in that town hall. And with that, knock yourself out.
So basically, a gentleman named Snooky Shea has sanded the kitchen floors, the pine floors are in, they're sanded, he's already put a coat of the, whatever he puts on it, okay? He's done the other coat, I think, today. There should be, we should be back in business Wednesday morning, for light duty traffic, so that way the carpenter can go back in and start putting in the cabinets and that sort of thing. The electrician can come over and start finishing what he's doing, alright? Snooky said when he does the rest of the whole building, he'll put the 3rd coat in, or the 4th coat on at that point, okay, in the kitchen as well, alright? So, basically that's all done, and he's also now in the process of sanding down the old selectman's office over there,
In the
and
library.
gonna get that taken care of, so, he's doing that now. The goal is for Wednesday that Doug Gregory will come back in and start on the cabinets around the sink area, so I can get the plumbing done for the water, get that and the drain pipe taken care of. Then they're gonna work on the hood where the gas stove goes, so I can get that put back in place and hooked up and operational. We have ordered the stainless steel tables, for prep tables. We get 3 of them all come the same size. They're 6 foot by 18 depth, and they're 2 level, okay? So we put one between the 2 bifold doors, and against that wall, and then you take 2 others, they have like a little backing to them, a back splashboard, and you put those back to back, and put them in the middle, so you can go one here, you got an alleyway, work, then you got an alleyway to the sinks. So, and you got room on the ends to go around to the stove. So there'll be plenty of prep area, okay? Water heater's all in and done, that's ready to go. It's just a matter of getting the final touches and everything will be operational. The cabinet, the countertops were never ordered, so Laura and Tammy went down to Middleton Lumber. They picked out a color for the countertops. They checked with Mary Kimball, she was very good with it. So, liked the color. So those have been, will be ordered just as soon as the cabinets, and they can measure and order those, and it'll take about a week from the time they get the measurement. So hopefully when Doug gets that in on Wednesday, those in on Wednesday, we get that Brian down here, get the measurement, and then get those ordered. They may be in time for it, they may not be. The thing is, for the sinks, we will cut a piece of plywood and put the stuff in the sinks in so they're operational just for that day, and then take it out afterwards and redo it, so.
Will you move the Hunka Munka propane stove back to where it's supposed to be?
Yes. No,
Are you worried about it making marks on the floor, or you think there's enough wheels that you'll be all right?
I think what I wanna do is I wanna get those coasters that slide
Right.
and use that.
Or lay some plywood down and,
Well, like,
Travel
yes,
over the plywood.
the biggest thing is, the whole idea is not to scour up that floor,
right,
okay? Even if we have something from on the legs, so the legs don't put indents into that pine, it's pretty soft, we can have something underneath there as well, just to save that from happening, okay? To be honest with you, if I had 3 other people besides myself over there, we can lift that stove up like that, because John and I done it ourselves. I can lift that stove by myself on one end.
just another boiler for you, huh?
Well, so, the overhead, the fan, the hood, the exhaust hood, new fans in. We are also putting in some high temp lights in there, so you can have lights over the stove while you work. So we have a wand type or a scissor type pot fillers that come off the wall, so you put big pots on the stove. Just come over, turn the water on, and fill them, and then slide them across the stove and start lifting, lugging from one sink to the over to that. So yeah, it's gonna come out pretty good. So, do you mind me a question?
The old tables, are there any of those still around?
You're right. I think 4 of them over there that are being used as like storage for workbenches, that sort of thing like that. One has welded, the legs welded, but there are 3 other ones that fold up.
If you've got one that folds up that's in relatively decent condition, Tony and I'd like to make a donation to the town to have it ourselves.
Well, we get, whoever wants them, the first come, first serve, so, if you can get a chance to go over there and put your dibs on, put your name on them, go for it.
You guys still have the tractor you need to pick those up with?
So, as an update as well, Selectman Mullins and I went over to Sam's Club. Tam and I went over to do some shopping. We purchased 10 8-foot of the plastic tables, black tables, the commercial grade. We picked up 5 of the 6-footers, and we picked up 45 chairs that are similar to this, but they're all black. There's no silver in them. So, that way, when that floor is completely done over there, the main floor of the hall, we won't have those old wood ones being flipped up and dumped on that new floor and scraped, because they're so heavy, people just driving across that floor like that. This plastic stuff, one person can handle it pretty much themselves. So, the chairs,
Will there be enough seating for the dinner, for the luncheon?
yeah, they're all brand new stuff, never used.
Will that hall be used for functions such as the function, the turkey shoot you're holding in the fire station? Will that be done in there now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
We even have a lease that when people wanna do a wedding in there, something like that, they can lease it, there'll be stipulations and a fee, we've always done that, but the fees attached to that as well, so,
Good.
yeah,
Cool.
so.
Yeah.
Fully functioning, the whole thing.
Couple of comments, please. August 22nd is not the grand opening.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't think that it's gonna be perfect looking on that day. For example, the main floor will still look dark because it hasn't been sanded. You can't sand it right now because all the cabinets are on. You move the cabinets into the kitchen, there's not enough time to sand the floor and get it ready for the 22nd. Also, this paint needs to be done on the outside of the building, okay? Separate from all that, at some point, redo the parking area. I don't think that'll be done this year, but just want everybody to understand, we're pushing hard to get to using this again. I don't know when the grand opening or reopening will be, but it's exciting to be able to use it again. This is no deference, no comment on John Mullen, but the actual rehab of the main building has taken 4 years.
Long time.
Okay.
Potion.
The main reason is that we had an L-chip grant from the state. In order to have an L-chip grant, you have to have a carpenter with historic, accurate knowledge and capabilities of working with old buildings. We got one, Steve Bernard, because he knew what he was doing, but his problem was he'd work on us for a couple weeks, then he'd go to another town and work on theirs for a couple weeks, then go to here, and eventually get back to us. So it has taken 4 years to get the main part done. By contrast, after the town voted in March of this year to repair the kitchen, which does not have historical value, it's actually an old school that was dragged up and hooked onto the town hall. There is no L-chip grant for that. That is strictly the townspeople saying, yes, let's fix it. So, April, May, June, July, August. 5 months. That thing's gonna be ready to be used. So, glad to see that things are moving along, okay? Rick's crew has helped out moving stuff. We got a dumpster to throw everything in. His crew kept coming over, and you know how you compact a dumpster? He had his crew stand up on top, jump up and down. He kept compacting it, so we got our money's worth out of it. All right, it's going well. I think after the pavement is done, which could be next year, a proper handicap ramp will be installed in the back. Right now there's a ramp in the front, you can get in, but we'll do it right after the pavement is in. All right? It does look nice in there. Upstairs, I think, is pretty much done.
Yeah, it is.
In the
They
main
put new
building.
blinds in the windows and stuff up there, the mini blinds and stuff, I mean, they're gonna build a job.
Is that the function hall upstairs?
That's an old church,
Oh,
and it's got murals, if you've never been, there's murals all the way around it, hand painted.
oh my goodness, yeah,
So, if you're ever over there and it's open,
yeah,
we don't have the doors locked, it's gonna be accessible to people,
right,
and you can go up and take a look at it.
yeah.
It'll probably be that's why the whole thing is done by the L-chip, with that mural.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
According to Mary Kimball, the church, the old home day church service will be there on Sunday.
Oh, good.
So,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I did write this up in previous articles for the Granite State newspaper.
All right.
And I think I called it the shakedown cruise, so to speak, being the
Well
old
put.
home day.
Sure.
And I've also gotten some write-up from Mary Kimball, and I'll be submitting something to the Fosters also this week.
Back in the day when men were men, they didn't build no wimpy wooden steps, they had stone steps. We have 3 stone steps to put in place
Yeah.
once the pavement is in or whatever, but the thing's gonna look nice when we're done. All right? Okay, anything else from anybody else that has been part of all this?
No, but if anybody hasn't already gotten copies of the Granite State paper, it is available at Irving. And since I'm writing for that paper, I encourage people to pass the news on to their families and friends and whatever, the residents, go down to Irving and or subscribe to the paper.
Do you have a Midland column in there?
Yes,
there is.
every week,
Yeah,
Okay,
very nice.
down at the Irving station.
yeah,
I subscribe to it, so it comes to my house, and it's worth reading. Okay, including
Thank you.
your section and all the other relevant news. There's some advertising from people around here, and it's nice to be able to see it. Okay, department heads. I think if you're all right, Rick, I'll have you come first in case you have other things to do.
I don't see too many other department heads in here either, so I guess I would be first, right?
That's right. I could have said last, but.
Well, the first thing is, you guys all know about the mutual aid. we had, highway departments got mutual aid, basically like the fire department and your police departments do. That all came way back in the ice storm of '98.
Alright,
The guy put this all together so all towns can be involved in mutual aid, you pay $25 a year to be in it. New Durham's backhoe, we got $8,000 worth of damage, something happened in the landfill. They got serious washout issues in second division up here, so they've approached me. I don't have the manpower to send a guy with the backhoe, but all his guys got backhoe experience just like mine do, so, as a mutual aid thing, we're in it, kind of, someday I could need help, which we work good together. So I'm just letting you know that I have approved through the mutual aid program for New Durham to borrow our backhoe. They'll take care of the fuel and the greasing and all that, and if anything happens, it's their responsibility, it'll be their operator.
we still have the excavator if we,
Correct, that's the only reason, why, because I got stuff to do too, but that rubber tired excavator is the way to go for us. I mean, they wish they had that, that's the faster way to do it, but at least they can keep going with what they're doing with a backhoe like mine, you know what I'm saying?
will they drive it over or trailer it over?
They'll just take it from here, they're only gonna work up here.
Okay,
I guess they're doing something different on that side, but the second division part,
Right.
this Kings Highway area is where they would like to be able to use our backhoe, so. Kind of how we had this meeting, I was gonna make phone calls, says what's gonna happen is you're gonna see a ton of built-in backhoe in New Durham, and you know how that works.
yeah,
Everybody's phone's gonna rattle, so that's what the
Right.
deal would be on that,
Thank you.
that should be approval anyways, cause we are in a mutual aid,
Yeah.
someday we could scream help, and they're always there for me, so. Actually, they did just help me out, they gave me the part to fix the bridge rail on Silver Street that got damaged, cause that's obsolete parts now, and they had some stuff over there, so they just brought me over some stuff to fix that. Which is a good thing, 'cause I didn't even know we were gonna get the money to fix that, so. Luckily, we found some stuff to probably do it just at labor cost, you know what I mean?
Don Batron's still in charge?
Yes, he is, and we work together and times it, so it all works pretty
Yeah.
good, you know?
Good man.
And on the washouts, they continue, we still continue to repair some. We're lucky more than others, we don't have as many, we got some. I think we got New Portsmouth Hill, I think we got that straightened out. We had
looks good.
torrential rain down there since,
Looks
this
good in
time
that room.
it held in there, we put ditches where I believe we use stone, and if it wants to go there, it can go there now, it don't wash out the gravel anymore. Biggest problem we got is a lot of these washouts is water running out of driveways. And you were on the peddler permit thing, once again, we got people running around town knocking on doors wanting to pave driveways. And people are falling into that. And what happens is they pave their driveway without a alteration of driveway permit. By the times I see it, it's too late, it's already paved. And I'm only involved in the first part of it, after that, where the water comes from, is from the code enforcement guy. I only maintain the 25 feet from the center of the road, so. By the time the water gets to me, the problem started up there, where I have no authorization to be up there. And they're everywhere. We got 3 brand new paved driveways in town I never even knew about until today. And they're knocking on doors to do it. We had this happen last year, and we ran them out of town, so I haven't caught these guys yet. I know their name now, I'm just looking for.
Town, country?
Correct, that's it, you're all brand new equipment,
Yes.
and I guarantee when I see them, it's the same guys I probably talked to 2 years ago with a different color truck and a different company. That's how it works. They're fly-by-night gypsy paving companies, what they are. They do under one name this year, under another name next year. I'm sure Jimmy's probably seen these before too,
He probably has.
you know? So that's
They're
that
very
part.
impressive when you see the new equipment, like, whoa.
If they're knocking on your door, they're not, any good paving company, you can't even get them out here to look at a job for weeks or months, you know what I mean? So if they're knocking on doors, they probably burnt bridges in other towns, and they're from Kingston, so why are they landed in Middleton? Because probably they've already burned all their bridges on the other side of the state, is what I'm thinking, you know what I mean? So that's something else we gotta kinda watch out for. I'm trying to watch out for the
Have we,
best I can,
have
but.
you talked with Chief Blanchard about maybe keep an eye out for those guys, like, let you know, or whatever, or no?
We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to get ahead of anything.
The crushed gravel project, that's slowed down a lot because we've had 6 inches of rain since the first of this month, according to that machine we got over there. So they are crushing gravel for us, it's metal construction like they always have. They got the 4-inch done, now they've just switched over to doing riprap because everything's so wet, the sand wouldn't work very well, 1.5 inches from the 3/4. material, they're honest guys, I can say that, because the material's supposed to weigh between 9 and 11 ton when the bucket's full. Whether it's the 4-inch or whatever it's supposed to be. They started running some of that stuff and it's weighing between 12 and 13, and it's only because it's wet. So they just automatically just stop making that and they're gonna make rock. Rock's not gonna saturate with water, so just saying how honest of a company they are, 'cause they could just send that all right through there.
Sure.
And you have a lot smaller pile, because you're doing it by the ton, you know what I mean? So, they are working on that. The new truck is gonna be scheduled to go to two-way communications for the radio and the lighting stuff. They're gonna wait for them to give me the appointment time. The hazardous trees, we've only got 2 left to take down, and they'll be down in the morning on Pinkham Road. Everything else is already done. We had a real good response from Eversource on a hazard tree on New Portsmouth Road that probably would have fell down in 2 or 3 days prior when we had that wind come up. I talked to them at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on one day, and they were there at 7:30 next morning with a whole tree crew, and it was gone by 11:30. So that was one of the fastest responses I've seen from Eversource. The chip seal project, that's done over here on New Durham Road. You both drive on it, so that was done Thursday and swept Friday. And the highway site update is Eddie's not here. He didn't feel that he needed to be here tonight. He said something about you thought you wanted to get prices on buildings.
Just putting feelers out there, getting quotes.
It's gonna be tough to do, and I'll let him sit down with you. I think he sat down with Laura today. Because you got a building design, but you don't actually have locations of other stuff in there, like electrical and your water lines and where your stuff's gonna go in your bathroom and it's a structural building. As far as the dirt work goes, that's one thing to make sure that you got compaction. But when you're building a building of that size, you probably want someone to put some kind of a stamp on it for it's structurally sound
So
too.
the question's gonna come up, do we wanna have a engineer design a building for us?
We're talking multi-million-dollar building. Might not be a bad idea to have it done right.
I was wondering if there's a way that you could get somebody to give you an idea on how much it would cost for an engineer for that kind of a project. You know what I'm saying? I just maybe put a feeler out for some credentials of some engineering companies and get their credentials, and then maybe figure out
We never
which
done
ones you
that
wanna give a
either,
call. CMA is the one that did your charrette plan.
Yeah.
We're talking back in '07. That job back in '07, that was estimated at $2 million in '07. I found all the CIP plan and all that stuff over at my desk. I dug deep and found all that stuff. And I gave that to Eddie, and some of that stuff in here is pretty useful because the town of Kingston was doing a highway garage about that time. And I got all their paperwork with that, you know, on how they did a lot of their stuff to get the building part. So I'll let Eddie will hook up with you guys sometime and just figure out, he's willing to do it, but he thinks that with this kind of money and with a building, we need to have somebody, you know, we can't just go in there and say, okay, you gotta put lolly columns here, then something's not right, you know what I mean? It's a pretty good sized building, and there is gonna be lolly columns, so he feels that if that's probably gonna be the best way. Back in '07, I think that CMA, they did some of that work, and it was like 30 grand what they did for that site. But that whole thing, we spent, what, $100,000 and something on that whole thing.
Right.
But that was the whole blowing up of the whole town, changing all downtown and all that stuff, so it was kind of overkill at that point. And that was only part of it, because some of that was a grant, that's how they ended up here anyways. Was through a grant, and they went to several towns, we were one of them, so. So I think that's what you probably want to do is something like that. Because it's kind of hard to go shopping for something of that size. It's like going to shop for a car with no money in your pocket, right, basically. Because when we did the dirt work, we put out a bid, we knew how much money we had. We had money. If they came in and we didn't have enough money, we just don't do it. But this came in with what we could afford, so that's why we did it. Right now, we don't have no money really, per se, for the building. You're looking for a number to possibly get money for the building, so it's a little different this time, you know what I mean? So we'll,
We can't put it out, is that something we put out, bid?
but the engineering service,
No, I would think so.
So you go and
I think you
They
just
go
throw,
on recommendation,
yeah, throw something out there and get some you know, have them send you some credentials or whatever. I mean, CMA did what we've got done so far, and there's a lot of them out there. Then out of there, you'll be able to feel them out and then get them to the side and let them know what you got going on. And maybe they could give you some ideas, you know what I mean? Because as far as where stuff should go in there, like electrical and water lines and stuff like that, we got an idea of how that's supposed to go. But and then when you get it all going, you may want somebody to oversee the whole project also, you know what I mean? Because it's gonna be, you know, you're gonna have a hefty price tag into a good sized building, so you don't wanna make sure you're not gonna do it again. And you
That's right.
want somebody to keep an eye on it, like we did Adams Way, so.
Right.
Make them have an on-site guy,
Yeah.
we hire them, they pay them. Cause if you
Right.
let them hire them and they pay them, you know what happens then, so
Yes, I know.
that worked for us down there.
Yeah.
As far as getting hold of your police chief to have him help me, I find that to be a dead-end street. I got trucks going across this road over here all day long. They go sit there for a little while and they leave, and lo and behold, the truck comes through 5 minutes after they leave. Chucky Thoreau is going all the way across this road now, all the way across the dirt pot, all the way back. He's trucking dirt in down here now. You gave him a bus and they're coming out of here empty, going in empty, go right down there. He's got 6 loads of fill sitting right out by the road, so they didn't fall out of the sky to get there. Had a truck on the ridge road, I thought he was broke down. He was loading a skidder in the middle of the street. In the middle of the street, on a blind corner on a hill where I just had a work zone 2 days prior, with signs out, cars coming around the corner like we weren't even there. So I called it in as a broke down truck. Sitting on a 10-ton weight limit truck on weight limit road, figuring the truck's on the other side of the bridge, 10-ton weight limit, it's not Chucky Thoreau. He's in the road with a skidder. The guy, even if he's isn't broke down, he should get written up because he never permitted to be there. All I got was that truck's not broke down, he's all set. That was it. So I said to him, I said, the road is posted for 10 ton. And I was so mad I just drove off. Next thing I know, I even called traffic dispatch and said, oh, that was in reference to a weight limit on the road too. He never said anything to that truck driver about that weight limit on that road. I can tell you right now, if I followed him all the way around, he come right back here to the VIN check on a Sea-Doo thing that you run on the lake down here. So that guy should have been nailed. I got people coming in paying for permits to ride on these roads, to do it legally. And I got at least 5 contractors that just do it whenever they feel like doing it. And I don't know what's going on. They go over there, and as soon as they leave, the truck comes through. Well, I don't know how this is happening. I got my own ideas, but if you don't get a handle on it, everything's just gonna fall apart.
Roads are
I'm
roads.
wasting my time. I mean, that's why we had to liquid seal this road this year, because I just paved that 3 years ago. If I shim over there, that's 86 grand. I just sealed it for 54. It'll last you 5 to 7 years, maybe. But if you're gonna let them trucks go on there, I won't give you 3 years on it. But there's not a damn thing I can do. There's nothing in any of our titles over there that says enforcement. None.
Right.
Give it to me. If I was an enforcement officer, I'm telling you, I mean, even I'm sitting on New Durham Road grading, speed limit's 25. The minute I make that first pass, they're going by me 50, 60 miles an hour. And you must hear it from your house, Joe. They're flying down
Yeah,
that road.
especially hauling trailers like the rattles in my own.
I mean, and I don't know, they took pictures of the road and stuff over there when they were over there looking at it and waiting for the truck to come through. They're out there taking pictures of the hill and everything. Well, I think part of what it is what is he worried about this road for? Because it's all washed out anyway and it's all rutted up anyway. The reason why the ruts are there is because of the trucks coming through there. So, the answer to help and doing whatever, this is the last time you're gonna hear me say anything about weight limits on any roads, summer or winter. It is what it is. I'm done speaking about it. I'm headhunting people when I'm told. This guy, I never seen him in my life. Why he didn't get written? I'm not headhunting that guy. I'm not headhunting anybody. I'm trying to protect your infrastructure that you spent a ton of money on. And I'm not getting any support on it, but that's the last time you're gonna hear it, so it is what it is now. It's up to someone else to start screaming, because I'm done being a jerk around here, you know what I'm saying? I've asked, I've done it your way. I got witnesses, I've done it the way that I'm supposed to do it. It's not working. So, when you get a guy dead nut in the street, loading a skidder, that's illegal anyway. Not in Middleton. It ain't illegal, you can do about anything up here. Yeah? in your court now,
I'm sure he
so.
is.
And I was hoping he'd be here tonight, cause I'm not one of them guys that'll talk behind your back, I said the same thing if you're sitting right there, so. I know I'm on camera, you can watch it on the video, it doesn't matter.
No,
Enough's enough.
I have time tomorrow, we'll have some,
You've been there before though.
yeah.
What
Be
results
there
you
one more
got?
time.
You want me there as well? Two of us?
Let me handle it, and then if it don't work like that, there'll be a whole different reckoning.
The one that's missing's been there twice already, and asked me about taking care of this already, twice.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to matter.
This isn't dodging,
Well, the bosses are up front here, right? You three, or the taxpayers of this town, right? We all work for you. Me, them.
Right.
I don't think that that's the way they're looking at it. I think they're working their own thing and nobody's the boss.
well, one of the biggest things like that, we've always said, we don't micromanage the departments, but maybe in some cases, we may have to be a little more involved in what we don't wanna be, but we'll have to be, and that's our job to do so, and tomorrow will be a conversation.
Well, they generate their own workload, right? They generate their own workload. If they don't stop anybody and do anything, there's no workload. Me, Mother Nature generates my workload and she does it every day. So I got stuff, we're out there working out there every day in the road somewheres. That department generates its own workload. If you don't do nothing, you don't have no workload other than we're supposed to have paperwork. How you gonna get that if nothing's happened? So just something's not right here. I don't know. I've done asking them. And that's all I got.
Okay. Well, let me know. I'll get
Well,
back to you
absolutely.
as well.
I'll call you, there's a question from Joanne.
Question,
Yeah.
Rick, that skidder, was that for a logging operation?
Yep.
Do we
Yeah.
know,
It drove from one resident to another resident, from that resident to another resident, from that resident back out in the street and got loaded on the truck. So it rode probably about a quarter to a half a mile of the ridge road.
was there a company name on the truck?
I know whose skidder it was. I don't know whose truck it was. I never seen the truck before in my life.
And the guy's probably picking it up.
He was just picking it up for the guy. I never seen the truck before. I never recognized it. So
No company name on the truck?
it had one, but it was really fine printed. I didn't actually stop and say nothing to the guy, 'cause like I said, I'm not an enforcement guy. I knew Rick was supposed to make a phone call and I was trying to take care of it. Oh, I didn't actually make the phone call.
I did.
She did.
Okay.
I called her, so, to be right downstairs.
What was the response? They just sent somebody out to look at it and didn't do anything about it?
That's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. That's fine.
Alright?
Yeah.
Okay.
Griffin here's for the fire department, right?
Yep,
Fire,
that
please.
is correct. Hi guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Griffin Parks. I'm the lieutenant with Middleton Fire. I did not know until today, that Chief Lawrence was not going to be here, so bear with me. Never been to one of these
Find
before.
out on Facebook?
What's that?
Find out on Facebook? He's in Washington DC?
Yeah, earlier today. I thought he would be here with me, so I could at least figure out how to do it, but it's a different story. So bear with me here. I managed to get the fire runs, how much we did. We did 11 last month. I did not get a confirmed number on EMS, but I believe it was roughly around 15. Pretty steady month for us. Anything that's going on, we're still looking for recruitment for some new members. We're trying to figure out the best way to go about doing that. It's kind of tough when there's not exactly a lot of people around here that want to do it, but there's a few, so we'll figure out a way to get working on that.
How short are you? 2 people or 3 people?
Well, a couple years ago, we had anywhere from 20 to 25. We're at about 18 right now. So it's not dire, but it's getting to a point where we definitely want some fresh blood in to try and do some new stuff. Old Home Day, August 21st, correct?
22nd.
1 second.
22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's starting the safety night though.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yep, that's a training night, so I have no problem pushing back a training so we can be involved, whatever you guys want us to do.
So if I can deviate off that for just a second. Old Home Week, we talked about the 22nd with a luncheon over there.
Mhm.
The rec committee on the 21st is doing a safety touch-a-truck combination deal. What that's going to be, we're gonna have the fire apparatus, the police department, and the highway department. I'm going to do like a little parade from the school with all the lights and sirens and all that kind of funky stuff. And come down here in front of the old town hall, and we're gonna have the Mike McNeil, the police officer downstairs who has the smoker. If you may have seen it down at the Harley Davidson in Rochester, he's gonna come up and we're gonna do pulled pork sandwiches with French fries, free to all the taxpayers, Middleton people only. Okay, we have a.
Gonna ask for IDs?
Yeah, well, you know, people hungry, you're not gonna say no to them.
This is in California, right?
But the rec committee has purchased a cat dump truck remote control for a giveaway for the highway department. We have a police car, it's actually a Charger, okay, and remote control. And we have looks like an old 55 Chevy pickup truck that's been converted with ladders like that to be a fire truck, this remote control. We have 2 bicycles, boys and a girls, okay, that's on safety night, plus
2
helmets.
Lego sets.
Huh?
2 Lego sets. for
And
the-
two Lego sets for the girls, and we also have, the police department have got some helmets for extras for kids who may not have helmets. They have like the little badges that says clip on, that says Middleton Police Department on it, which is pretty cool. Alright, so that's gonna be the first night. The next day is luncheon at noontime. That night, we will be doing bingo in the old town hall, 10 games, free prizes for anybody, all ages. And then immediately after the bingo game, we're moving right into a movie night with popcorn and root beer floats for the kids, and it's gonna be Peter Rabbit for the movie. So that will be our thing for family fun. So, in conjunction, that's what
Yep.
Mr. Parks is talking about.
Yep, public safety night, we'll
Yeah.
be there.
It's gonna be very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. One big reason why I'm here, I'd like to request the purchase of a new scene light. The total cost is going to be $645.39. It's going to be replacing one that I believe is about 12 years old. It's broken. It works when it wants to, but I tried to fire it up today and it didn't work.
And again, last Tuesday was their meeting for the regular fire department meeting. I'm the liaison to the fire department. Griffin showed me the thing, and it's laying there in pieces. I mean, you're
It's-
hanging on to 2 pieces,
It's bad.
but
It's
it's
pretty
not
bad.
working.
And
well.
what is
It's-
this
it's-
exactly?
What does it do?
It's a portable scene light, so when we have calls at night, or if we go off-road, as you know, there's not many street lights in town. So if we're operating, say, at a fire, motor vehicle accident, some type of call at night, we need lighting, especially if it's an area where we can't get a truck, or if it's not in line for the headlights to show the scene that's going on. This little portable scene light, the current one we have is gas-powered, scene light. It, lights up the whole scene so we can work safely. Our current one is gas powered. It is broken. It's supposed to be on a mount so you can extend it. It's broken, so it's just kind of hanging down there and it's not adjustable. It's not working right. The new one, ask me any question about this thing. I've done my homework. I've looked up everything about it. This is the best bang for our buck. I know it's a little pricey, but it's gonna last. It's fully LED, battery powered, rechargeable up to 500 times. We will get our use out of this, and it will definitely help with safety.
Does it come with 1 battery or 2 batteries?
2 batteries.
Okay.
And we can purchase more for a decent price off of thefirestore.com, which is where we go for that.
How portable is it?
It's pretty small, has a handle on it, it fits easily in the truck, and one person can grab it and go. Very, very simple. I watched the safety demonstration video on it. It's the best option we can get.
I guess one of the best things about safety like that, not being gasoline powered, is that if you have a car accident with fumes
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
You can take it a lot further than just at the truck being plugged into a generator, right?
Absolutely.
Take this right with you.
that may be we have to purchase, probably the best way of doing it, so.
Yep.
How are we for the budget for the equipment line?
No, they're fine.
Alright,
I've checked it already.
good.
What's the number again? 6 what?
$645.39.
They have the money in the budget for equipment, whatever. They haven't spent, they do have the money there, it's just because it's over $250, they have to give them a certain
Yep.
approval to spend.
Alright, input from other folks.
Yeah, it's a
Good
good idea.
idea.
You pay them what they got by the sound of it,
Yeah.
what they've had, so they can go further than a cord.
Right,
Actually, different subject, so
okay, let's get this one done. Anybody else? Okay. Sounds like a proper thing to buy to me. It's a motion to,
Yeah, I make a
Right.
motion to go ahead and spend the $645 for the new portable LED battery powered light.
okay, I'll second. Now, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Good. Anything else for your
Thank you.
report, or that's it?
There's only one other thing I'd like to get the ball rolling on, and that is emergency radios. It's becoming a bigger issue now. I believe we have, I want to say 13 that are in working order, but they're past their life expectancy. Good ones through Motorola, those are the ones we have. They usually last about 10 years, I'd say. I don't think we've gotten a new one in the last 10 years. I know mine's old, starting to go. We have certain members who have turned theirs back in because they just don't work anymore. I know they're expensive, so I'm just saying I'm going to get the ball rolling and see if I can get a good price on them and see which ones are going to be the best that will last, because there's at least 5 that are out of service right now, and the rest of them are dying off quickly.
And again, I'll ask, money in the budget?
Yes, there is money in the budget, and where's the bottom line budget, he can move stuff from one to the other if he doesn't utilize it. I think right now in the budget, the last price I got was like $2,500 a piece.
Yes.
Obviously shop it like that, because that makes a difference, but they have enough money, if they need to buy 2 right now, they can. But at that point, they have to wait until the end of the year because of the fact that, if anything comes up, they won't have enough money to do that, so.
Mhm.
But 2's better than 0.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to next year's budget, when this budget was made up for the March 2018, the radios were old then.
Mm.
Right, so if there were concerns, should have been in the budget, we need this much extra money to put radios.
Yep.
It's great to talk about that now, but let's look ahead to the future for the budget in 2019.
Mhm.
If you need radios, then make a request in your budget to accommodate that.
Yep.
And the
Absolutely.
taxpayers will have their say in whether to approve it or not.
Okay.
Right?
You got the numbers right there, Roxanne?
Yeah, so.
If you look at the equipment line, training line, all that stuff together, it's some big, and I have to go, as Bill's sheet he had over at his office and like that, I'm not sure that I had the current
Alright, so I
information,
don't,
so.
do you have any idea what he has for outstanding bills that haven't come through for?
I don't have any bills right now for the fire department.
So yeah, so radio repairs and equipment, there's $5,000 that was in that budget, and,
So there's 2 right there.
they've already, it says year-to-date actual, they've already spent over 5,000 on that line.
Oh,
But
there you go.
there's, so,
I take that back.
but there is, let's see, it says firefighter equipment, there's 8,000 on that line, they still have 7,100. Training line has 4,500 in it, and they still has over $4,000 on it, so.
So that can be utilized and moved around if need be, so
Right.
I would say make a motion to buy at least 2. That'd be $5,000 and.
I'd like to see what the price is.
Yep.
And come back to us before we.
No grants floating
So
around.
take
no
2
grant,
weeks,
nothing.
our next board select meeting,
That's why we got ours,
Okay.
right?
Right,
do your homework. And I know Chief Lawrence at one point had, for the previous 10 years ago, received a grant.
Yep.
Maybe there's something out there like that to look at too.
Yep. We have looked at a few grants, but I'm not sure how many he put in for. But I know that he put in for a few, and we didn't get any. I don't know if that was related to radios or not. But I am looking at grants out there. I'm starting to get that process. I'll see if there's anything. I will absolutely do my homework on prices and the models, and I will get back to you on that. Absolutely.
Thank you. You're welcome to come to the next meeting, which is not next Monday,
The one after.
but the one after that. Right.
I will be here.
Joanne?
Is this something that can be purchased periodically on a rotating basis to keep the stock?
Could be, yes.
That is what we're hoping to start doing.
And that was the conversation that we like that.
Yep.
Buy them so we can rotate them, so we don't have to buy 18 all at one time.
Right.
Can't afford that.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for everything else, we've tried to do the same thing, so.
Yep.
You know, unless it hit.
Yeah, like your equipment and trucks and stuff like that. You,
Right.
you gotta space it out and you replace one and 4 or 5 years later you replace another one. You have to
Right.
do
Don't know
more
if they
than
do this or not, it just popped in my head because we're talking about trucks. Not gonna hurt to ask, do they have some type of leasing program for radios? Will you lease them?
They do.
You have to outright purchase, I don't know.
They do have a leasing program. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't looked too much into it, so I don't really know enough to bring that up. But I will look into that as well.
That's maybe a
Yep.
nice way of maybe looking at it too.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
Okay. You got it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Town clerk, tax collector, these people are not here, could you address
She
that
was
at some
supposed to
point?
be, so I'm not sure where she's at.
Okay.
She was supposed to come back, so I don't have anything.
So, police is not here,
Police, I have a report though.
okay.
I have police report, I have an assessing report, and I have the treasury.
Police Department, July 2018 monthly report. I'm not gonna go through all the personnel and stuff like that and equipment, so. Department activity calls for service, year-to-date 330, arrest 18, motor vehicle stops with warnings 285, summonses issued 27, motor vehicle accidents 8, and animal control callouts unknown. ACO program is finally up and running, just need to get the vehicle details done and fixed, minor mechanical issues, new battery. So, the ACO officer, she lives down on, by Lure, I think, somewhere,
Yep.
and she has,
So we
shirts
got a new
like
one
this,
now?
whatever. She has the noose and nets and stuff like that, so it's fully equipped ACO vehicle, no, on the old police vehicles.
Maryland ACO's animal control officer.
If you come to a family fun night on the 21st of September, you might meet the person. I'm not, let me go through the who done what, not,
No.
so we have.
Should be pretty blank anyway. Just my opinion, you know, as a resident.
So, alright,
All right. Anything from conservation?
Nothing.
Code enforcement, he's out ill right now, right?
He was in here today, he's moving slowly, but he's hoping to come back, but I told him he needs to rest up.
Okay, but at the moment, he's not working.
No, we've hired that other gentleman.
Cemetery, anything from Roger?
Nothing.
The last we heard from Roger was that the soil tests were done, they were hoping to do some test pits. And other than that, I don't know anything more than,
All right. You said soil tests have been done, but they need test pits?
yeah.
Isn't that the same thing?
Apparently they tested the soils and the surface appears to be good, but I guess they wanted to do some digging to
Okay.
find out just how far down some of this, like I say, just hearsay, this is what Roger was.
Okay. Well, Dalton, we need to get moving on this. It's been, and we did that back in the springtime.
The lady that we approved, she sent in a map, that's it, there was no write-up with it, it was just a map, so I have no idea what that meant.
Okay.
I gave it to Roger, like there was nothing says we found this or this, nothing,
Right.
just a map of the land, I don't know what they did.
We got our own maps.
I know, he goes, where's the write-up, I go, well, that's all, so I don't know if he ever got any more, but,
That cost us $250, right?
yeah, actually more, wasn't it like $450? For
And
her
it
to
cost
go
us
out,
something.
he says it's not very wet, he says there's one little spot, and that's all I got from him, so I don't know.
That's not a test.
No, I think that's when you dig in the ground, when you're gonna find
Right.
out what you got.
Right.
Well, there was no, you know how like they test the water, there was no write-up, like we found this, you know.
And you need to test it in a wet condition, you don't wanna go test it on a dry season.
Right.
You know, like right now would be perfect time, if it's not wet now, it's not gonna be, basically.
We need to talk to Roger and have him call the person and give us a report. And we paid for it, we need to have it.
I can email her back, the lady that
Yeah,
sent
tell me
me that.
one more information other than the map.
Okay.
Assessing, anything?
Yep, just that she just sent you a memo that she had to file an extension for the MS1 because it's a reval year. That's
Okay.
common, because they're not done, she cannot do the form by September 1st.
You know that when we do evaluations in town, we do a certain percentage each year for 4 years, and then I think on the 5th year, the whole town is done. Okay?
So we on the 5th year now? No, we're on now. That's why I'm all over the place.
I don't know, I get kicked every year.
I'm not sure which year we're in.
This is the 5th year of the complete town eval year.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so. Per the assessors and MS1 extension request was filed today with the DRA, Department of Revenue Administration, on their web portal. This is typical leading up to a re-evaluation. Thank you for pointing this, okay? ACO, I guess, was part of the police.
Yeah. We talked about that already.
I will do zoning as the representative to the zoning board. Tomorrow evening, there's a public hearing on a variance request. Someone wishes to build a garage on their property closer than the 50-foot setback from the main road, okay? I have the information on my desk. It's either Partridge or Pheasant, one of the roads up in there. House is already there. They'd like to put in the garage less than 50 feet from the road, right? Treasury, report.
This one's yours?
Yeah.
So basically, it's a slight discrepancy in the, I'm not sure, it's just where everything laid out at the time. Right now, we have, from the treasurer, we have total cash available, $2,018,613.44. And according to, Laura's books, ending bank balance is $2,047,132.12, so.
How much is this?
2,018,000 and Laura's is 2,047,000, so Laura says he's got more money. That could be some outstanding checks or whatever, but that hasn't, so.
That needs to be addressed. That's a fair amount of difference. The whole purpose of having two people do the same work is to have it come out the same.
If there's outstanding checks, wouldn't you take that off the balance so that they?
Yeah.
You should be able to find out.
Mine will show you the checks that I've written,
Mm-hmm.
hers probably not.
No.
In the different time periods.
I'm looking
Mine
at,
are entered automatically, she probably didn't enter them all in.
Right.
because right now it shows Laura, 28,518 and 68 cents of
For what?
outstanding checks.
Okay.
Okay, and over here, Sandy, the treasurer does have the same amount of money for outstanding checks. Total cash available, and if I looked at the ending GL balance on the second page of Laura's, they are, the $2,018,613.44. So, that does show.
So how much balances?
It does show that they balance, so.
Okay. All right. All right.
I mean, no, I wanna ask a question, I'm not trying to throw them under the box like that. Is that numbers that, she's getting from herself, or is that she being assisted?
I'm not assisting her.
Okay.
I know that she just went back and did the entire year over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Planning board, Joe?
Yeah, planning board met last Thursday, we have a major, deal going on with Middleton Lumber down here, they're in the process of, putting in a 5-acre solar farm, so they can cut back on their power usage. They don't, I didn't know this till today, but basically, a year or so ago, they started, putting out their electrical needs to bid, and they've been dealing with people from all over, whatever, instead of just Eversource. And they've saved some significant money, in a couple of years, over $300,000. So basically, Marcy wasn't be here tonight, but, one of the places they put up the money up to bid, they've over-purchased. And there's a penalty for not taking the power that they said they were going to use, and they don't use it, and there's some kind of a payback or whatever. They don't, Middleton Lumber does not want to pay the, whatever, so they're looking at some point to somehow maybe donate the rest of that power, they got approval from this company to do so, to the town of Middleton, in the school. Okay, I don't know how much she has, whatever, but, as far as the town goes and stuff like that, she's looking to maybe donate power to the town of Middleton. Okay, as far as that goes, the solar farm is going to be on map 9, lot 90, and then 9-1. They have 2 sections of property they own. They got building permit to start the project on 9, and they got a permit for 9A, and to get them started, and they're going to do a lot line adjustment, so everything's all one lot, which is not a big problem.
It's right now below the mill yet.
Yeah, straight down below the mill, yeah.
On the, as you're heading towards Farmington, is on the left or the right?
It's on the left.
On the left.
Where they,
Park
Where
used
they,
to be.
yeah, where
stock
they have all the
logs.
logs, yep, yeah.
maybe
And behind it.
out and back further.
Where the big park pile used to be,
Yep,
that's where they're gonna put it. They don't have that big back pile anymore, they haul that out of there every week.
okay.
Craymont hauls that out as they make it, so they got that big chunk of land out there, and that's where they're gonna put it. It's all wide open in the sun, it sits right, so.
Yeah. So,
Good.
they have a wet spot, and they know about all the environmental stuff like that. They haven't done by a professional company that's gonna be doing the work, that sort of thing, so.
He happened to be in here the week that I was in here, he wanted to get the maps, and he didn't know what he was looking at, and I'm like, oh, well.
So that's, other than that, there's nothing really else going on.
Alright, EMS, you said there's no, you give the ambulance report, the numbers, but nothing beyond that.
I don't have a definitive number on
Okay.
how many calls we had now.
Welfare. For the month of July, one applicant that was assisted with housing, no other applicants were seen. Okay. To Laura's credit, she uses guidelines for the job, it's not just her impression of whether she likes an applicant or does not like it. There's very strict guidelines, questions that have to be answered for every person, same questions and so forth before there's any money given out. Okay. Alright, emergency management, Greg Cooper, not here.
Me?
Yep.
Talking to the chief, Mr. Cooper came on duty, and he, last week attended a Homeland Security meeting under for the emergency management like that, so he's taking some classes like that, so, you know, he's involved in it pretty heavy, so.
We're still waiting to hear from FEMA. We're supposed to get a call to get our information, and we've already gave him word that if he gets it before Laura or I, then to get it to us. But they got our contact information too, so I'm hoping that if they don't reach him, they'll reach one of us.
I can do a follow-up with Alex.
No, I would think, I haven't heard of any other town doing any Bass or none, they haven't got called either. They're in the same waiting too, so I guess we haven't missed nothing, we're just waiting.
School board, anything?
We didn't have a meeting last month. Our next meeting is Wednesday night, where hopefully we'll be voting on the fence around the detention pond.
He's still in my heart.
I know,
Oh, wow.
I'm hoping, and,
Very nice.
maybe voting on the generator too. We're talking about getting a generator.
Okay.
Is Linda gonna be
There's
there?
some work supposed to be
Is
started
Linda
up.
gonna be there for that vote,
I don't
on
know.
the pets?
Wasn't it from the last meeting, they're supposed to be
Oh,
working?
the shed is completed,
Oh.
and the security and walkways are supposed to be done before, the school opens. I think there was some drainage around the playground that's supposed to be done too, before school starts.
Nothing new on a possible parking area. We're thankful for having the fencing around the pond.
Let's hope. I
Alright,
mean, it hasn't passed yet, but we've got bids on it, and hopefully it'll pass.
good.
So what would be the only thing that would keep it from passing?
We don't wanna spend money that we already have,
Okay.
Typical town government.
which would be,
Well, but
a
if we
can
can,
of
if
soda.
Middleton Building Supply gives them power, I wanna see if their power bill goes up.
the price of that fence will be about the price of a bottle of soda for every resident.
I'm
Yeah.
not
For that
I'm just
fact?
asking.
No, I want the fence.
Should have been there from day one, in my opinion. I think we all said the same thing when we
Yes.
looked at it. We did walkthroughs down there. I was amazed that there was no fence around that, and it holds that much water.
Alright,
I agree,
And the money's in, then they have the money for it.
yes.
I think at the last meeting, they said they still had from the building fund, $190,000.
Hundred and something, I don't
Okay.
remember, I know it.
And then they also had money left over from the over budgeting as well, that was in there, so. There's money, there's well over $200,000 available to take care of these projects, so.
And that fence ought to be that.
by contrast, when Cumberland Farms rebuilt their store on Route 125, northern part of Rochester, they acquired the land that used to have the drive-in,
Yes.
okay? In so doing, they created a catch basin for water. They put a fence around it. There's never been a drop of water there, but they put the fence there. It's the way it should be done, in case there's water. On the other hand,
Walmart.
we have the water and no fence, so.
In the school zone.
Right, yeah.
I agree. There should have been fencing.
We'll be, programming those lights too, to, here in the next week or so.
Oh boy, it's time to start up again. Okay, would you have the minutes reflect, I as chairman are gonna be contacting these people to get them here? You know, second Monday of the month, you know, we're supposed to have department head reports, all right? And I see 2 or 3, but I see a lot of people that are not here. Okay?
Last I knew that was mandatory, it hasn't been for
So,
the last
uh,
20 years, so.
Well, I mean, I know that back when I first become on it, that we decided that we're gonna make this like a mandatory thing like that. And, you know, unless you have a slip in your vacation or days off like that, which we should know about for department head.
Or an online class, they can't miss, in daycare.
So I'm just saying, you know, it's one of those things like that, it's part of your job to be here, you know? Let's be here, you know? Nothing is, it's not your job, I mean, if you're
But
assigned
it's here.
responsibility,
Right.
at least you're
It's
here,
here.
and we appreciate the fact that you're here, you know?
He doesn't wanna see
You did a good
you
job.
off.
That was a part of it anyway, I think if you find out that if you wasn't able to be here, your assistant.
Exactly, if you
Someone
can't
should
be
be-
yourself, somebody
if I
should be
wasn't
here
anyway.
instead, so.
Yep.
If Chief Blodgett Police has a class or something, there are other people. In fact,
Assistant, Doug.
there's gotta be a policeman on duty right now that can come
Well,
here.
it better be.
Maybe.
I hope so.
All right, so,
I have to take a walk down back and find out.
that's my job to follow up on that. Okay? New business, Mr. Bloom, you're on, please.
Okay, I'm Mickey Bloom, live at 85 New Durham, on the corner of Eastman, been there 4 years. And, the other day when the road crew came through and they put the hot tire down and all the gravel, I went out to look and see what was going on. And, they had all the heavy equipment out there, and I said, oh my God, it's gonna be a third-rate road if they don't put an asphalt on top of this. I've seen it done in North Reading. But anyhow, what happened, I apologize for the message if I was a little hot under the collar, because my driveway slopes up to the road, and they had the steel roller and the rubber tire roller go straight up and down the road. They never came down into that 3 and 4 foot portion that came down in my driveway. So I look and I'm slipping and sliding and tiring gravel, and I'm saying, oh man, you gotta come back and do this. And I waved down the guy, one of the guys with the signs, and I said, can you guys have him come back and roll this? I says, it was like 90 degrees, and this stuff just sitting there liquefied on my driveway. And he says, no, we really can't, they're already down there now. And I says, well, this ain't gonna work, this has to be compacted, you know? For 3 days, I was tracking tire and gravel, you know, my shoes, until, of course, the sun went down and the rain came out, and now it's not in bad shape, but still it's, I just couldn't understand why they didn't make the cut in with that rubber tire unit
Your
to.
driveway's paved.
My driveway is paved,
Right.
it is, but, unlike the problem that Rick identified, was a lot of driveways come down to the road, mine's the opposite, mine comes down off the road, so every time it rains, all the rain from the road comes down into my driveway and floods my driveway. But anyhow, I was slipping and sliding on tire and gravel. I went in the house and I told my wife, I said, this is ridiculous. I says, look at my sneakers, look at the gravel, look at this. And I got on the phone and I was upset. I have to apologize to anybody who picked up the phone the next day. I do, I apologize. I was a little.
That'd be you, Laura.
I was a little hot under the collar.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn that down.
And, no, my hat's off to Rick and his crew. They do a tremendous job in this town, I know. that there was, you know, the contractor that was responsible for doing that, and not you folks, and, you do a wonderful job during the winter, you do a wonderful job cleaning all the drains and everything you do, so, I don't have a problem with the town, I just have a problem with that road, and you just mentioned that it's gonna be there for 2 or 3 years, that's gonna be the road.
Anyway, yeah.
And the problem with that is it's very noisy. It's really noisy, because everybody travels that road 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. And I'm not kidding, okay? Now, when you come up from Wolfboro, and you come into New Durham, and then you come into Middleton, you see a sign that says 30 miles an hour, okay? Now, when people go down past my house, 85 New Durham, they're booking, they are traveling. All that gravel's being thrown up under their cars, it's being splattered all over the place. I know you guys did a pretty good job with your sweeper, trying to get all the loose gravel
That's
out.
a contractor, that's all in the contract
Yeah,
to do that.
well, they did a pretty good job there, but still, I mean, the stuff's still coming up and it's noisy, and, we need signs on that road to slow people down, we really do. I mean, and what's with all the heavy traffic? How come people aren't using 153? Why are all these I can't believe the amount of traffic, the heavy trucks full of gravel and the trailers and everything up and down that
It's
road.
just me though, it's just me saying that.
And they're booking it, and it's like, didn't we have a weight restriction sign up at the corner?
Like, going back to signs, just saying that we need signs on that road to reduce the speeds on, a sign won't do anything but stand there.
Can we
We need
have,
some enforcement to enforce that
Can-
sign that's.
can we have an officer sit on Eastman and start tagging people? Because they're coming by there, I'm no lie, I know what speed is, and I've been driving.
So the record, and we're on camera,
Okay,
she has a daycare, she takes the kids down in the morning, picks them up in the afternoon, and there's been some pretty nasty people behind those buses like that, and just as soon as the buses go by, they come off of New Durham, take a right hand turn, come down Silver Street, and they're just lifting.
Yep.
I mean,
they are,
I intentionally, if I'm down there at the end of the driveway, and I see like that, I'll stand up, I'll go in the middle of the road like that, slow them down.
yeah,
To your point,
Yeah.
it was 3 days ago, I was coming up just after they done the chip seal, they hadn't, I think they didn't even do the first, sanding sweeping of it, and I had a car on my bumper, and I was doing exactly 36 miles an hour.
Yep.
Flashing lights, tooting the horn to get around me,
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
I just stayed in the middle of the road, and I went 35 miles an hour.
no, it's ridiculous. I notice, motorcycle traffic has slowed down, because they don't wanna drive on that.
Yeah.
They don't know how to drive on that, okay, so, but it's it's mainly, pickup trucks with trailers, and then you got the heavy equipment. I mean, they are flying, and I'm right there, I have no buffer, you know? All I got is lawn and a few trees between me and the street, and, now I got a brand new car with some brand new Michelins on it. They're full of gravel and tar. And when I get out of my road, and once I get down and I can hit 153 and I can hit like the stretch past the lumberyard when you do 50,
Oh,
All
no, that's
the-
your 70 there, that's
all
what
the,
I-
all the stone starts flying out of my tires
Yeah,
and
that
hit my
comes in very
undercarriage. You know, so, we've probably lost 10% of there's a stone put down there already in the tires, but, and it is,
For the most part, that road's pretty good, I mean, you're not getting all that stuff, that debris flying up now, because it's pretty much packed in.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
I
much
know,
packed in and
I
pretty
go
much
across
swept
all
off.
the time and stuff like that, and I know the first couple of days, you're right, it was hot, and it's like, you know, but then now it's cooled off and stuff like that, and they swept it, it seems to be compacted pretty good, so it's
Yeah.
not a problem.
Once we plow on it this winter, some of that aggressiveness will come off too, but not all of it, it's
yeah,
still gonna have some
you're
of
gonna
that
pick up some stuff, yeah.
right there, you know what I mean?
So, that's typically used as an underlayment for an asphalt surface, isn't it?
No.
That,
No, they've got different ways, you can do a stone chip seal, you can do a stone chip rubber seal, where they actually grind up tires and put it in there, but they always use the stone with it.
okay,
And what they did first is that same company hires a guy to go ahead of them and fill in the cracks that are anything wider than a quarter of an inch.
Right.
You've probably seen them do all of that now,
Oh, yeah.
they did first.
yeah,
Then they come along the same company
Yeah.
that does the chip seal. And you're gonna find that more of a common practice. You're gonna go to Farmington now, they did 3 or 4 roads in Farmington, Milton done 4 roads, and they're in New Durham the 22nd of this month, and they're doing like 6 roads in New Durham, the same exact thing.
Okay.
Chip seal type thing, the same exact thing as I did. And some of the reasons that's backing it is heavy truck traffic are going on roads that we just paved prior like 3 years, and they're getting cracked. And to go back and shim overlay them today with the hot top prices when I started here at $27.50 up to $73 a ton. Like I said earlier, that would have cost me close to 90 grand to do.
Yeah.
We did it for 54 or 55, and we're gonna get probably 3 to 5 years out of it, maybe,
Yeah.
but the truck traffic's the heavy truck traffic, if it continues, it won't last that long, it's just the way it is, I mean, and the reason why you're getting all that traffic is GPSs send everybody the shortest route, you get all the trucks coming across that way, and they like to go straight across to get from 11 to 16, that's a pretty good cut across from 11 to 16 or vice versa, if you're gonna go to Concord, if you're gonna go to North Conway, so
Yeah.
that's picked up a lot of truck traffic. Yes, there's been a 10-ton sign on that
Yeah.
road, there was a different sign on that road that they said weren't no good, so we did this one, we put this one out, and that's not doing any better, but it's been posted for at least 6 or 8 years now. That road has been posted with the restriction of the trucks, which we can't enforce that, so we put a sign out that plain says, weight limit 10 ton, and it seems like we can't enforce that either. I don't understand, 'cause it was all set up through Concord, right through the New Hampshire DOT when we first did it, to make sure it was right, back when the other chiefs were here. So, I believe we got it right, it's just something not being enforced, so that's why you're getting the traffic, it's
Yeah.
GPS, and you ask any of them truck drivers, they'll be honest with you and tell you,
Yeah.
well, that's where it sent me, I'm going to North Conway, or I'm going to Concord, you know?
Yeah.
This road we kinda got a handle on, except for this end.
The GPS can tell you what weight limits on the roads are, but the sign should, if you can read, if you drive a truck and read, then you should be able to
Right.
say you can't come across this way.
Right, some of your
Yeah,
high-end
GPS tells you.
GPSs do tell you where your weight limit's supposed to, if you got a posted bridge, and they'll send you around it, but I believe that those are like an extra $500 for that kind of a GPS system, to actually tell you where your bridges are posted and all that, 'cause they do have them out there. Some of the trucks do have them, 'cause some of these companies don't want their trucks on roads that are posted too, you know?
No,
If they get
that
caught-
pretty quick.
If they get caught, they'll find out why they shouldn't be there. I mean, your first fine's $250, and the second one's $500, then it's $1,000, then you gotta go to court, so you gotta start somewhere. Like, I believe Jimmy said it, if you stop 2 or 3 trucks, truck drivers talk, that's all it takes, is 2 or 3 trucks get stopped, they start talking, you slow the whole problem down already. Because they'll know you're enforcing it, right? If they don't, if they know you're not enforcing it,
Free for all.
So my question would be, as far as the enforcement goes, do I personally talk to the chief about having somebody sit on that road on Eastman and slow the traffic down, or?
I'll have the chit chat.
Okay. Okay, because it's,
This is our jobs, but I'm the liaison with the police department
Okay.
as well. I'll
Okay.
have a talk with them.
well, thank you so much, it's gotta be slowed down, somebody's gonna get hurt there someday, I know it is, somebody's gonna,
But unfortunately, they hate to say it, but ultimately it comes down to us, Board of Selectmen, and enforcing stuff because of the liabilities involved. If it's posted and we don't do anything,
But you're talking New Durham Road before you get on the dirt part?
yeah, I'm
Is
talking,
that-
yeah,
But I mean, that section's not
no,
posted though,
the
right?
dirt section is.
No, I know that,
Right.
so I mean, the
From-
section that you live on is not
from
posted.
this corner, right out here, across from town hall,
35.
all the way down.
No, but I'm just saying for weight limit.
Right.
Oh,
So,
Most of your truck traffic,
and I know what you're saying, is
Comes
coming
across
from New Durham,
the dirt road.
but you're talking speed,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, speed,
and weight, actually bigger trucks too,
Yeah.
which most of them come across the
And I
dirt.
get that, but I'm just saying, they
They
can
can still
stop
go
you
that
up,
way.
right, they can still stop in front of, for the weight, but they're not gonna get anything for, I mean, they can't stop them for weight in front, but they can stop for speed in front of you.
So if you said that- that new surface could last 3 years, with the heavy truck traffic, would you have to do the same surface again in 3 years, or?
Either that or you can be shipping overlaying it again, but the problem is the town is, we've got other places that we haven't even been in like 18 years.
Yeah,
So to get back over there, I don't even foresee us being back there maybe in 5 years.
yeah,
But at that point, in 5 years, I'll be totally honest with you, it'll be somebody else's baby, I'll be retired, so. I'm looking forward to it every day,
This'll be a
especially
ghost-
every Monday.
This'll be a ghost town, everybody will move out if you quit.
As long as they don't all follow me, I'll be happy.
Rick, couple of questions. On the dirt section of New Durham Road, you start over in New Durham, right about where the sign says Middleton Road. Is there a weight limit there?
I started all the way on Route 11. I'm on Davis Cross Road with the first sign on Davis Cross Road. Then you come across the Old Bay Road, then you
Right.
hit the Ham Road. There's another sign right there on the Ham Road.
Okay.
Then you turn
So
on
they
to
have
the
no
actual
excuse for
road.
not knowing about
There's
it.
another sign right on the end of that dirt road. Then you get to our town line, there's another sign right there at the town line. So there's 4 signs, say 10 times before they even get to that dirt road.
Should we be having a sign over the side from at the beginning of New Durham Road?
Well, you'd be posting that for a 10-time weight limit then.
Yes.
And I don't know if you really necessarily need to post that particular road for a 10-time weight limit, because it is a pretty well-built road. As you can see, it was worth crack sealing rather than paving, because you had very minor cracks in it. You didn't have a lot of alligator cracking, you had centerline cracks and some edge cracks. You didn't have areas where it was like a big spider web for a quarter mile, so it was one of those that will fall under criteria for that, because they have to meet a certain criteria to do that. Obviously, like if you look up in front of Freddie Ames on Kings Highway, thought maybe I could do the same thing up there. In the process of over a month and a half of looking at it the first time, looking at it again, it's gone past that point where I don't feel comfortable, and neither does Allstate Asphalts with a chip seal. That's the one that pikes them, and then they're gonna do a shim overlay. So that means they actually gotta shim the voids out, and then overlay it again with another inch. And the only reason is, most of this happened this winter, during the mud season. The road has grown out 4.5 inches. That means the pavement has been pushed by heavy equipment and pushed the road 4.5 inches wider than it was when it was paved. And it goes like this. And if you keep them on, that's why you post them in the mud season, because underneath the roads, what usually thaws out last. It thaws and freezes at night. We put salt on it. If there's cracks, salt gets in there, thaws it out during the day, and freezes at night, and stuff breaks apart. So that's the other benefit of crack sealing is, it's like fixing your own driveway,
Yeah.
or fixing your roof. If you can't afford to do the whole thing, you used to patch it, right?
Right.
It's basically somewhat what we've done over here, is
But
to
if that
save
road
what we
doesn't-
got.
If that road doesn't qualify for the load limit, but if you go down that road, you're gonna end up on that New Durham with the dirt section, but there's no other way to turn off.
Well,
You stay right on
you
Silver
just keep
Street.
it on
Silver
Silver
Street,
Street,
oh,
and where
yeah.
I'm going.
Stay right on Silver Street.
The weight limit sign starts right on the dirt, but what it was intended to do is to stop the heavy trucks coming from Route 11 to here.
Alright.
It hasn't seemed to have done that well, because we haven't had one vehicle get stopped for overweight on a weight limit road in this town, yet. So, that needs to happen, because they're not out there for nothing. You spent all kinds of money and research, and to get that to be like that, and then to have it not enforced is ridiculous.
Any concerns about Summer Street?
No, I don't, you look at
It's
that
strong
road
enough.
again, the only part of it which don't qualify for a chip seal, it qualifies for, and I'm not gonna shim overlay that section, I'm just gonna shim it. And that's the lower section down by the town line, where the Milton town line meets us, and comes this way to the bridge. That's gonna get just a shim. And when I mean a shim, you'll be able to see, they're just gonna shim it. You'll probably see high spots in the road. It's not gonna be, they're not going right back over it with another inch, because we should be down on that end in the next 5 years or so, because that's the cycle that we went around before. We should land down there again, you know what I mean? On the Ridge Road now, then we hit the Kings Highway, then it's that area. So to get it to hold together, we're just gonna have them shim it this year, just to hold it together. You'll be just patching potholes. So it's like a Band-Aid. Do I like to do it? But you set a
Always so much money.
you have a $200,000 budget for paving and road work. So we try to stretch it the best that I can to get the money that you can out of it, you know what I mean? And that's the only way we could, if we keep leaving that crack like that and wait till we can get back there and pave it, by the time you get back there to pave it, it would have been even worse. We probably would have to do a full depth reclamation and regrade the whole road and start over. Which we don't have to do that, you're better off, because you've already got your 4 inches of pavement or so. So rather than come in and grind that again and start back off at 2, you're better off to try to work off what you got there, because you got a foundation started, especially on that road. It's not that bad. Ridge Road, Little Silver Street, Drew Drive, you look at them roads, them are the ones that you need your full depth reclamation on. So you couldn't afford to do it on all of them, that's for sure. You'd never get around. So I'm kinda sorry it messed up some stuff on you, but,
You didn't mess up.
the contractor or whatever.
Are they supposed to
Well, they're
driveway?
they're not gonna go off the road into tar driveways too much because they don't want the liability of staving up your tar driveway too, you know what I mean?
Well, this was
So,
just, the
it
tar
was-
and gravel was put in 4 feet, and that rubberized, machine should have
Yeah.
compacted that.
So you came in 4 feet on your driveway with
3 to
that
4,
stuff?
3 to 4 feet,
Really?
yeah.
I don't even know why they would go in that far, cause most of the way down through there, you're looking, it wasn't even about an inch off the pavement on the regular part of the road, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
Well, you must've been special.
they're about a foot out.
They tried to seal the end of your driveway to the pavement or something, I don't know why they go that deep, you know, really, cause
Yeah.
you just go right in a straight line,
So
so.
should consider myself fortunate they were doing me a favor.
Might ask them to come finish.
I'm gonna ask them to buy me a new pair of sneakers.
Joe, when you talk with the police, feel free to mention that citizens are concerned.
Oh, absolutely.
There's one there, there's one there. I've been on that road, cause I live on the backside of the lake, and I often come up with these big tractor trailers. I don't care what they're carrying, but I'm thinking an ordinary box tractor trailer is over 10 tons.
Absolutely.
Well, most times if you see them logging, them chip trailers coming across that road, coming this way, or even coming down this way, there's a reason for that, you know.
Right.
A chip trailer loaded all the way to the back door, completely, if that chips are hitting that back door on that chip trailer, 9 times out of 10, that truck is overweight.
Yeah.
A log truck loaded all the way to the top and then steel rails. If the logs are hanging out the back of that, even 3 feet out the back, if that whole rack is hanging out 3 feet, that truck's overloaded.
Yeah.
And what do you see going down through here? Trucks with logs hanging out 6 feet out the back, the chip trailers are loaded, the chips are falling out the back door. I mean, they nailed one out here one year, he was almost 37,000 pounds overweight. Reason they caught him, he went off the road, went in the ditch. That's the only reason, other than that, he trucked through here, that's when they rebuilt the golf course. All them trucks, every one of them was, that's when you lost Kings Highway that year, and we rebuilt it since, and now we're almost back to where we were before.
Yes.
I've been talking to Chief Blodgett earlier this week. It's not only just the speeding and the vehicle traffic that's dangerous for a lot of other reasons. Tony and I were coming back from Wolfboro, coming down that road. 2 kids on bicycles coming towards us. And they were on the left-hand side of the road against traffic instead of, they're supposed to be traveling with traffic. And if that wasn't bad enough, one of them decides to swing across the road in front of us with a car coming the other direction besides.
Yeah.
So I've talked to him about, you're having this safety night, I asked him-
Bicycles and helmets.
to talk to the kids about bicycle safety, and if these trucks are moving the way they are, and I see kids walking down with their back to traffic, earphones in their ears, they couldn't see or hear somebody coming behind them, somebody's gonna swerve ever so slightly, and we're gonna lose a kid.
Certainly a concern, no?
It's a, yeah, we had that town cleanup day, and there were some kids that were walking with their back to traffic, and I stopped and asked them, don't you realize you should be walking on the other side of the road? Oh, we're in the ditch, we're okay. Like no car's ever run off the road before? Excuse me? Walk facing the traffic so that if somebody swerves, you have a chance of
Dive out of the way.
dive out of the way.
All right, thank you. for
Well, thank
presenting
you.
that.
Thank you for
More
listening, and once
information.
again, I apologize. My voice might have been a little higher octave than what it is now, so I apologize.
We've much your number.
By the way, Mr. Bloom, you and I already met.
Yes, sir,
That's right.
at the cemetery.
That's right.
Yes, that big rock is gonna turn around
That's right.
and engrave it, and
That's right.
Yeah, we put Bloom Cemetery.
That's right.
it's right next door. You can cut through mine
Right.
if you wanna, go take some flowers and you don't wanna park on the street.
Right.
Put in my yard, come in my yard.
We might end up some quiet neighbors at least out of it all, right?
They're gonna be quiet, hopefully.
One other item that I have, just received a call this evening from a concerned citizen that they've noticed some dead fish near the dam at Sunrise Lake. I'm gonna look tomorrow to see what some means, is that 5 or is that 50? Okay? I do know that last week, the people that work on the milfoil was in one part of the lake, usually the other side, trying to control milfoil. I believe they use divers, so I don't know if there are any chemicals involved, but I'll try to find out more about it, and I'm sure you'll hear about it on Facebook from everybody. I don't know, yeah.
Probably already there.
Yeah. All right.
So it's on the lake side, or did they actually get over the dam and on this side?
Well, the divers worked on the far side over in the cove area. The fish were spotted near the dam.
On the lake side or
Yes.
over the dam, just in the lake?
In the lake itself.
Wow, yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know what's caused it. Again, I don't know the quantity, but I'll take a look. Try to see tomorrow. All right? We'll get back.
Find out what species we could have a fish fry.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing this Sonny's perch, probably some pickerel, some bass.
Yeah, I'm thinking trout.
Lake's too warm for trout. There's no lake trout on this.
Oh,
The
there is,
lake,
huh?
lake's only at the deepest spot might be 15 feet deep.
Oh, okay.
Not deep enough.
Yeah, trout don't like that. Now, if you like to fish, kinda off topic, up on, going towards Wolfboro, Ellis Hatch, up in there, it's like you can walk up there, it's fly fishing only, catch and release.
Yeah.
They just rebuilt that whole dam up there, okay? We went up and looked at it, and right in the middle, they had the excavators down there. There's a big rock, it's like bigger than this room, they built as a shelf, and it's down there quite deep, and I'm gonna tell you what, this,
There's Kings Highway heading towards, it's in
right
Wolfboro?
across from the town,
It's in
the
Durham.
town pit.
Yeah, about 3 miles.
Okay.
3 miles up, you'll see a big sign that says that, Ellis
Ellis
Hatch.
Brown and yellow, lettering on it, Ellis Hatch, whatever.
You can only drive part way in, you have to walk the rest of the way.
About a mile.
Okay.
It's a nice little walk up in there like that, if you like to fly fish, and it's all trout.
Cool.
Nice ones in
Can't
there
take
too.
them out.
There's some
Yeah.
good ones.
Catch and
You
release
gotta get
spot.
deeper, so it's colder water down
Yeah.
in there. That's one of them ponds that always warmed up and they couldn't keep big fish in it.
Yeah.
So when
They
they
can now,
excavated this
that's
time,
deep, it's really deep
yeah,
up
they
there.
made
It
sure they
is,
could.
catch and release.
What about behind this auto body, down behind the big pink house that's on sale for $200,000? Across the street there where the
You buy
windows
that, eh?
closed?
Uh,
I'm afraid it costs too much to
Paint it.
refit that. It's got a nice roof,
Color.
got a nice copper
It's all redone.
roof.
It's- The whole inside's been all redone.
Yeah, it is.
Has it, yeah?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why they would've picked pink. Yes,
But
they
there's
did.
fish in that brook you were talking about too, down in Union.
Yeah, where they blew the dam apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that all comes out of level, and you could find some pretty good fish in there, so.
Yeah.
Union Meadows, you got trout in it.
There's also a stream that cuts across Main Street right there at, well, the Sonic Temple's there. Two Johns is right there, but there's a stream that flows,
Yeah.
I guess, down from, I don't know, your property or
From
someplace.
Brookfield, yeah, it comes up from
And,
Brookfield. yeah.
I've seen people fishing in there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Some of that comes from New Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's Brookfield, yeah.
If we have trout, I'm not talking.
Alright, what have I missed? What else do we need to go over tonight? That's it? Anything? Joe, missed anything?
I'm good.
All set? Alright,
Make a motion that we adjourn at 8:09.
I'll second.
Alright.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, folks. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Seriously, if you want me to come